Hello everybody, it's Wyvern here with another bit of Total War Warhammer 2 Quick Match gameplay. This time around we are on the River Amazon playing as Empire against the forces of the Tomb Kings. This was actually another match I landed against Aracrastic. I decided to go with a bit of a classic build, one build I've been running for quite a while. And it's a cannon heavy build. And so for my lord here, I'm going to be running Boris for the self-healing and all the crazy buffs and debuffs that he applies. Not much to say there. It's the usual stuff. My front line here is dirt cheap, because the front line is only meant to stall and hold. Though that said, the two great swords can essentially turn the tide against the vast majority of Tomb King garbage. Swordsmen in the front, anchoring things, swordsmen on the, great swords on the flanks, two spearmen, one on either end. In the back we do have a unit of Reichsguard as well as a unit of Empire Knights for some heavy cav. Two Outriders with grenade launchers in the back, and then a Lore of Light caster in the center, who does have Net of Mintok, Faust Protection, and Exorcism, as well as a Power Stone. Artillery battery, two great cannons, as well as the Hammer of the Witches, which should apply a lot of heavy firepower to my opponent very quickly. As you can see, we're immediately going to start pounding through these Skeleton Warriors, going after the Tomb King. My opponent's Lord is trying to snipe that leadership like a scumbag, but unfortunately cannons aren't really meant for that, so they're not really succeeding all that well. Now for my opponent's comp, he decided to go with a very wide setup. He's got Necropolis Knights on the flank, surprisingly the vanilla variant, no halberds. Skeleton Warriors in the front, he's got some Necron Warriors in the center. Tomb Guard actually on the flank here. Tomb Guard with halberds over there. And then doubled up Skelly Archers in the back. On the flank he's got a Necrotect in a chariot with the heal. He's got a Lore of Light caster as well with more abilities though than mine. He's got Perona's Time Warp on top of Faust Protection and the net. He also does have the Eggkills, Canopi, and Neferus Scrolls of Incantations. And then finally another unit of Necropolis Knights, which I think is odd. I don't really think Necropolis Knights are that great when against demigryphs, but we'll see how they do. Regardless, the cannons are going to be pounding away. Tomb King not having the best time of it, or more importantly, Skeleton Warriors not having the best time of it. What I probably should have done is switch fire from the cannons to the archers. Regardless, my opponent is pushing on rather consistently. Aracrastic's just trying to swing around the flanks here with his knights. I did spot them with Boris. I immediately kind of suspected some sort of shenanigans over there, so I've kind of been keeping Boris tailing over here and positioned the spears and the guns to deflect that. You can see the cannons that are taking down two Necropolis Knights in due order. In the meantime, these cannons over here are going to pivot around to try to hopefully engage these Necropolis Knights. You can see they actually take 3 models off already. No healing for them. And you can see another 2 models go down to the cannon. Now over here, the Necrotect is going to try to run away. Unfortunately, I'm going to pile in with my Reichsguard behind him, and this is not something I should have done. I should get the reserve probably. Regardless, we are going to play a little aggressive here. You can see the Outriders are actually going to push in, and we're going to bombard the Skeleton Archers. And this might seem suicidal because we're pushing straight into range of an Archer unit to deliver this bombardment, but I think it's absolutely valuable. I need to get this shooting off the field so that in the later game, my Outriders have absolute free reign and don't have to worry about anything. Now certainly we're going to get to take a pounding here, and certainly it's going to be terrible, but you can see we're able to disrupt these archers, we're able to throw them completely all over the place. Just look at that melting power from the grenades, just destroying them. And although we are going to be punished here, we're going to lose some models, we're going to suffer a bit. It's okay, it's all for the long run, it's going to be a huge benefit. Meantime, the cannons are in line, they're doing a lot of damage. Over here, my Empire Knights actually charge into the Necropolis Knights because I needed to lock them down, I needed to keep them off the field. In the meantime, I'm going to pull the spears here to block the Skelly Warriors. Elsewhere, you can see the Light Wizard here kind of struggling a little bit. The Great Sword getting in there, slugging it out with the Necron Warriors, but unfortunately the Necrotech will not lay off me. You can see my opponent kind of overwhelming me. Aracrastic getting around my flanks. He's collapsed my Reichsguard, completely buckled. We do land a net there on the Necropolis Knights, which is definitely nifty. It'll allow our cannon to get a few more shots. And in the meantime, you can see the Necrotech here getting snared by Boris, who's just giving him the old 1-2. The Necropolis Knights not having the best time of it against a great cannon, but unfortunately here goes through Shopti. Now I've seen this is a mechanic I really have some hate for, and I really hope gets changed. But as it is what you got to be prepared for it, and I just was not. I didn't have the tools to stop it. I'd already committed all my heavy cav, and these guys are going to start slaughtering the Hammer of the Witches, and there's nothing I can do about it. Elsewhere, you can see my Light Wizard here doing his very best trying to shut down my opponent, but you can see I'm now losing the Great Cannon. I'm only down to 1 artillery piece. That said, the grenades opening up on the halberds, and they're going to do a lot of work, because of course that is what they do. The Light Wizard here getting pounded a little bit, hit by a Net of Mintok, but hey, he's doing his best. Elsewhere, the Necrotech being pursued very angrily by Boris. Tomb King here getting chopped down. And you can see Boris actually there just sitting around not doing anything. I'm not entirely sure why. But regardless, the archers still firing surprisingly. They didn't actually manage to wipe the whole unit. I just wiped most of it and they're disintegrating. But the grenades, you can see just how much damage they're doing to these 2 with halberds. Really not having the best time. I really need to pull these Reichsguard back though. I've got frost protection on them. I really need to pull them back. But you can see the cannon there still firing on their Acropolis Knights, trying to take them offline. But unfortunately, my opponent is now getting his Shopti on there, and I've got nothing to shut them down. Over here, you can see the Empire Knights, when they got the charge off, and then the Necropolis Knights didn't. You can see how long they've been held up. Now, certainly the Necropolis Knights are going to win this decisively. It's not really a contest, but the Empire Knights were just able to bog them down for all eternity. Now, Boris is going to come in and settle the score. Elsewhere, the cannons just completely getting torn apart. I absolutely hate Shopti summons. If there's a mechanic that needs changing, it's this one. But regardless, the Necropolis Knights are going to overwhelm my cannon, and with that, all my artillery is going to be offline. Anytime the Great Swords here trying to take the Tomb King to Pound Town, he's using Tomb Strike, trying to rout me off. Definitely doing quite a bit of work against these poor guys. The Great Swords not having the best time of it. But, you know, we still have swordsmen rallying. It's still not over. We still don't intend to give up just yet. You can see Boris diving in here against these annoying Necropolis Knights, able to chew them down. But you can see they're still at 10 models, so not terrible. Despite Boris' efforts, they're still rather tanky. Boris there is trying to, he can't even land a hit on that guy. What a noob. But the Necropolis Knights, 10 models, doing okay. And my Empire Knights now forced to pull away to try to deal with their Shopti. Unfortunately, I was not quite on top of moving the hammer pushes away. I really should have had them on the run much sooner. So we're going to lose a whole bunch of crewmen. And you can see my opponent just running down these crews and costing me a huge amount there. That said, his infantry here taking the hate from the grenade launchers. Just no mercy, no respect for these guys. I'm not going to give these 2 guard any respect. They're just going to get mulched by a raw volley fire from the grenade launchers. And my opponent tried to push into them, but he's got nothing really to shut these guys down. They are still a cavalry unit. They still got some mass, and they can actually fire on the move. So we're just going to pull away. We're going to pull straight through those Tomb Guard and escape, and make our way out of there. Anytime the Empire Knights still pursuing, Amulet of Fasta going down. Boris still in hot pursuit. My opponent trying to mop up my infantry and my artillery, but at this point he's kind of been reduced to just these small pockets. He's spread out all over the place. And because of that, we're able to get some good value. You can see the grenade launchers mulching these skeleton warriors, just destroying them with these spears. Now they're going to get a nice reach on forcing these guys to collapse, which is great. Which is free up some infantry, fine. Unfortunately, the Acropolis Knights will not lay off, but, you know, Boris is still coming. He's coming for his just desserts. The spears now will be able to block them. Not ideally, but they'll be able to slow them down. You can see these guys disintegrating now, which is very good. Finally, we're going to get these guys off the field. And my infantry is in full rout. They're in some horrible shape. But, you know, Boris is still tanky. The balance of power is about dead even. Boris is in very good shape. Yeah, things are looking peachy keen. The Outriders melting these halberds. And Boris is going to dive in here on the Tomb King. And rather than being an honorable, good sport, I'm simply going to, and meleeing my opponent with my Outriders, I'm going to fall back. You can see the Tomb King here having a horrible time against Boris, because it turns out that even if you're a skeleton man, you are not quite a match for a big bird over here. The razor sharp beak, and he's able to take the Tomb King to Pound Town. You can see the guy's down to 500 HP, and now when these 2 are trying to clump up and help, they're going to get blasted, taking them come by the grenade launchers. So definitely not where they want to be in life. And you can see the Tomb King is just going to crumble. You can see there he's actually collapsing. He falls down in defeat. Completely humiliated. These Tomb Guard crumbling. And Boris continues. Anytime my Outriders forced into full retreat, I'm making sure not to let those Necropolis Knights come to grips. You can see the balance of power still about dead even despite that loss. But at this point, I was confident that I could win. 8 rounds of ammo on one unit of Outriders, 5 on the other. Boris at practically full HP with a way to go before his healing cap. He's got a lot of abilities to get. Unfortunately, they were wasting grenade ammo, but he's got a bunch of abilities to. He's got Foe Seeker. He's got his Deadly Onslaught. You can see there we actually still have over 2,000 HP left of healing to do. So these Necropolis Knights now at full retreat, just having a horrible time of it. And my opponent is out of mobile options. Suddenly, this is looking much more grim. The Necrotect here got bogged down by spears and actually dragged into the muck in a moment that I completely missed. But you can see he's falling apart, crumbling. He's not going to be able to recover. The grenade launchers here, my opponent tries to net down Boris. But he just doesn't have anything to force these Outriders to fight. I've got 84 speed. I don't have to give this Lich Priest no respect. He's got 76 speed. So we're just going to back off and come back for another go later.
Moving now.
Now, Boris is certainly not the guy with the best defensive stats.
Take the ground.
He's got 40 melee defense, which against Tomb Guard, even with all the debuffs going down on them, means that they're still going to have an okay chance of hitting him, especially with that many of them. But, you know, he's Boris, so we're just going to force path out. The net's down, and we're going to go after the Lich Priest. I do apologize for this. Nothing like that there. But Lich Priest is going to get hit there by Boris, and he's going to have a bad day. Lich Priest is not meant for dueling. And you can see suddenly the balance of power is shifting decisively in my favor. Lich Priest, basically with every hit on the Lich Priest, my opponent's chances are tanking, and all of a sudden the army is going to crumble, and the grenade launchers fire a few more victorious explosives into the pack, and that is going to be game for the Empire. So a game that started out relatively well, but then due to the Ushabti summon almost turned into an absolute disaster. I got hard carried, I would say, by the Outriders with grenade launchers, who simply mulched my opponent's archers, they mulched my opponent's infantry, and they did some good work overall. Definitely a very valuable unit. Boris, of course, also did some great work, and you can see the infantry raking in some decent performance as well. Now, as I said, I think the Ushabti summon is one of the worst mechanics in the game. I've seen some cool reworks proposed on the forums, including one to make it a spell that has to be casted within, say, 60 meters of your lord. I think this would be a much more reasonable restriction. The fact that it's currently map wide is pretty ridiculous, because it's incredibly punishing. You basically are guaranteed to lose something to those Ushabti if you've brought artillery to the field, or if you brought shooting to the field. Unless you're beating your opponent so decisively that you just have free units ready to go. It's really rough. So I'm not a big fan of that. But otherwise, you know, interesting comp. Like I said, I don't think the Necropolis Knights are really the way to go. I think that especially if your opponent brings Demigryphs, you're going to be in deep, deep trouble. The rest of the comp, I do think infantry heavy is the way to go against Empire, because Empire can bring some nasty lord sniping cheese, and they can generally deal with monsters relatively easily with mass handguns. Personally, I prefer to bring more shooting and a more elite front line. I'm not the most fond of say Nayakar warriors. Nayakar warriors are pretty garbage, and I don't really like bringing that much chaff infantry. But hey, you can definitely make it work. But yeah, grenade launchers, they're good, guys. They're good. They are OP. I love them. Mulch some infantry, send them back to the shadow, or send them not back to the shadow, send them back to the realm of souls, eh? But regardless, good game to my opponent here, Grenadierin or Krastic. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you found it entertaining and fun. If you did, be sure to leave a like and subscribe below. If you have any comments, any criticism, any questions, as usual, do not hesitate to post them down below. I'll do my best to respond as soon as I can. I thank you all for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye for now.